All right, so what's your name?
My name's Lee Day.
How'd you get here?
I got to recovery sources by. Um, I got here. I got out of jail, and I was in a class that I was doing in jail and met Matt Owen, and he was the one that referred me here. What led up to the point of me getting here was started smoking pot at an early age. I was probably about 12, 13. First time I tried marijuana, and so I smoked weed up until I was probably about 15 or 16.
Like exclusively just smoked weed.
Just
That's
smoked
yeah.
weed till about 15 or 16, and then I got a car wreck, and I hurt my knee, and they put me on Lortabs, and it was like fives. I was just taking, and then started noticing that the more I took, the better I felt. And well, after the script, got done going to the doctor and stuff and all that, and started having little withdrawals and stuff. And I started, my mom, she was taking them, and so I'd catch myself, I'd sneak some out of her purse, and then so I just kept liking. I liked having a buzz all the time, and so then after
Like you discovered that, but almost like incidentally.
yeah,
The way
um,
that I'm with pills in that way.
yeah, and um, like once I started noticing that I liked the pills, it changed a lot on who I hung out with, and then so I'm going to school and stuff, and at 15 and 16, there's not most kids are smoking weed and stuff, and so I hid that for a long time with the whole taking pills thing, because I thought it just
Taboo.
yeah, like it's people would think I'm just an old druggie, and and I was young at the time, and then so I gravitated toward the whole partying, everybody that wanted to party and stuff. I like being high and stuff all the time. So, and once I started doing a lot of the pain pills and stuff, I started experimenting with other pills, like Xanax a lot. And so pills was a big thing for a long time, and then just doing pills and drinking for a long time, and then
Like a
after I got
lifestyle of that.
huh.
Like your lifestyle was in and around.
Yeah, well, it was my lifestyle. I mean, I did pretty well in school. Like, I played sports, did stuff, but I always had, like, I also would like to take, like, Adderall because I felt like it made me go harder playing basketball or made me perform better in school, made me do better grades and stuff. But then I'd have the withdrawals of one thing and have to rely on the other. And then, so I constantly just always had some kind of pill in my system, and then like as I started just only doing pills, I didn't really care for pot anymore, and then so about 18, 19, I started drinking a lot, and drinking's really bad in my family because like I always was against drinking like at a little earlier on in my life because from the time that I was like, I don't know, young, probably about 7, 8, till the time I was about 13 or 14. My mom was an alcoholic, and I didn't even talk to my mom for like about 4 or 5 years because I mean there was times where when my parents divorced, uh, we would. I was living in South Carolina with my dad, and my mom was coming down from Tennessee to get us every 2 weeks, and she would show up to pick us up with my dad. She'd be sober. And by the time we made it back to Tennessee, she was completely obliterated, swerving on the road and everything. And so I really didn't like the whole drinking thing. But once I started drinking, man, I didn't realize it then, but now that I'm looking back at it, uh, drinking was like the worst thing ever for me. That was the one that got a hold of me. So I would drink and I was partying, and I just thought I was just doing what everybody else was doing at that age, around like getting out of high school. I thought I was just partying just like everybody else. But when everybody else was done partying for the weekend, I was still going to my work and drinking at my work and stuff like that. I actually had to have it to function and stuff. And so once I kept doing the pills and the drinking for a long time, and then I tried other things, heroin, meth. I would like to smoke meth and stuff for periods of time, but then once the paranoia and I'd be like, all right, and I knew how bad it was for me, so I'd just be like, all right, I gotta kick that for a little while, and I'd go back to the Xanaxes and pain pills, and because in the back of my head, I knew how bad this shit is for me, but I guess, where I was an addict, I just had to have something in my body all the time, man. It didn't matter what it was.
So the way that the defense mechanism or willpower asserted itself was like in a justification or rationalizing. This is not working, so I'm gonna like whack-a-mole, put this one out.
Right.
But I can't not have something.
Right.
Okay.
I had to have something, man. And that was even like so my daughter, she was born when I was so I kept doing that all the way up to a little bit of meth here and there. Smoke that, give me a little pep while I'm at work. Quit that for a while, and then I was always drinking in between all this. And then always having Xanaxes and pain pills, and if I could find a little bit of heroin every now and then, snorting that whenever I'd get it. And so when my daughter was born, though, I knew the drugs, the drugs were, I knew they was not cool. It's time to all right, I'm gonna try to do this on my own and try to be a better man and be a better father. And so I got on Suboxone, and I was on it for about 8 years. And then this was before my daughter was born. I tried doing the Suboxone thing. I did it, and I was drinking and doing Suboxone for a long time. And then so after my daughter was probably like 2 years old, I had left a Suboxone on the entertainment center. I was running late for work. I was about to bust it up, do my thing, and then my girlfriend, my baby's mother, she calls me at work, and she's like, "Do you know what I just picked up in Peyton's hand?" And so she called me, and I was like, and then from that day forward, I quit all pills and everything on my own. But then the drinking kicked in, and when I started drinking, man, it was, I don't know if it's because where it's just you can go to the store and buy it, and it's not illegal. In my mind, I ain't doing it wrong. And then I would always tell especially with my baby's mother, we'd fight and argue about it. She's like, gosh, she's like, you ain't even made it home from work yet, and you already stink like a brewery. And I'd be like, so what? I made it home, I'm good. And I'm driving without a license and all that stuff. I had 2 DUIs and just doing all that. And so I had a wonderful job. I had everything I wanted, man. I had paying for a house, had cars, had everything I could want. But I guess just there was something that, over the years of since I was a teenager, using drugs and alcohol to fill that void or something that I'd been feeling like I was missing. I don't know, I just could not put down the drinking. And so I do these, I get these 2 DUIs, and I'm in trouble with the law for not completing probation and constantly just running from them. And my jobs would always just let me come back, and they allowed me to drink at work because I was getting my production and making numbers. So I felt like everything I was doing was right and it was working. I'm still going home just getting fucked up, man, And then finally it just got to the point one day, everything I feel like that's good around me, I've got me and my child's mother, and everything's just gone. It's just I go to jail one day and I go to call her, and she's just like, well, I'm leaving you. And then I end up in jail, and I lose my job, and I can't pay for this, and she's got the house, and I'm just with nothing. And so I'm bouncing back and forth, staying at friends' houses, staying at whatever girl I could hook up with, staying with them, and getting to the point to where I can still get a decent job to land for the meantime, but I'm losing them all over. I go to work and I'm wrecking tractors and shit at work, or fucking material up at work, and they're like, well, we're going to take you for an alcohol test. And first couple times they did it, by the time I got to the hospital, I guess I'd been working long enough that I didn't feel it, it was out of my blood. Because I'd been there like all night long for like 8 hours before they ever got me to the hospital, so I passed. Man, I'm beating the system. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And finally I fail a blood test, lose another good job. There I am again, back to square one. And and then after I finally, I'm in the Bristol area. I pretty much wore out every single good job in the Bristol area, to where like I have really like nowhere to go besides like fast food, and like I've went to school for CNC, but all the jobs in this area I can't even go there no more because I've just burned all the bridges for it. They're like, he's just a piece of shit. We ain't hiring him back. And so I just decided to I went back to my mom's, and I kept promising them that I would do things right and do this and all this kind of stuff, and hide my drinking, and of course they smelled on me and stuff, and so I just ended up just
What would they say about it?
they would just say like, well, like,
Because your mom, obviously, you said was out.
So like when my mom would come to me about it, I would go and, well, you did it, I'd blame her, like, it's your fault that I'm like this, I'd always accuse it, like, I'm no more fucked up than you were, and she's been sober for probably 15 years now. I mean, she did it all on her own and everything, and she's been a wonderful mom since then, since the whole drinking thing. So
I'm sure that shut her down.
Huh?
I'm sure that shut her down in a way if like you found it.
Yeah, it was like I guess it was just a way for me to just like justify what I was doing, kind of.
At any cost, yeah.
And I guess like a way of being angry at her. Because I like blamed her for, I blamed her a lot for my dad's, for them getting divorced. Because we had a, when I was younger than that, when we was, kids, it was great. And I don't know, I was really young, man. Like, I don't really remember my mom changing. Like, I don't remember that point in my life. I just start remembering my mom and dad not really spend a whole lot of time together at that, when I was younger. And there's one thing I do remember when I was a child, though, that really sticks out in my mind. I remember my mom coming in one time, and it was just like a few days after Christmas, and like my mom was like getting the Christmas tree took down and stuff. And my dad, he's like, he smokes pot, and he drinks a little bit, but we go to these meetings and stuff, and you hear people say like, we can't do it successfully. Well, I don't know if there's a real thing that people can do it successfully or not, because obviously I can't. But he's the type of person that can come home from work and have a beer and be done with it, or he can have him a mixed drink on the weekend when he goes out to eat and be fine and not have a problem with it, or smoke him a joint when he wants to, and he's fine with life. But me, I'm not like that. And I just remember this one time, man, my mom came in and she tripped and fell over the recliner. And I'll never forget it, man. My dad was like, oh, you're on that bottle again. And I was only like, I was really young, like 7 or 8 years old. I don't know why, but something, that one time, that's kind of, I guess, when I noticed my parents' marriage was like falling apart as a kid, like something was wrong. And so like they kept like for like 2 years after that, a couple years or whatever, and they kept arguing a lot and stuff. And my mom, like, my dad was working during the week, and my mom was just a stay-at-home wife at the time, a stay-at-home mom, and she would like send us like church and stuff. And so my dad would leave for work on night shift at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and like, so we'd go to like this little church thing on the weekdays, like this little church camp, and we'd come back, and mom would be drunk in there, doors locked, lights on, and we're sitting there beating on the door in the cold, like, let us in. And there was a time, I had to take a rock from outside and bust the window in, and yelling at my mom to come let me and my sister. And, we're like 8, 9 years old, and mom's in there passed out drunk. So, like, I guess, like, I had, like, a lot of anger toward my mom over that, because, and there's just other things that has happened with her that, like, she like she had wrecks with us in the car. She's had a few DUIs herself, and she got child endangerment charges over it and stuff like that. And I don't know, just I always had like a lot of hate with my mom over that. And then, so when she quit drinking, my dad had gotten remarried with his second wife, and we just didn't click, man. And that was probably a lot of the problem because I was just raising a lot of hell back then. So I moved back up here to Tennessee, and my dad didn't want me to go, but he kind of was like, I feel like he was kind of like tired of my shit because I started acting out at a really young age, and I'd put him through a lot of shit. And so I guess he was, I'd been like threatening him this, being a kid, like I'm just gonna move to my mom's, and finally he was just like, okay, go. And then like he didn't want me to go, and because my stepdad and my mom, they were both drinking at the time. Like my mom, like she'd put down the ball for a while and then come back to it, but they were always fighting, drinking and stuff. So I knew my dad, like he didn't think it was probably a good idea for me to come up here. He didn't even like send us up here on the weekends. When I moved up here, my mom, she decided to get sober, and she did. And me and her started rebuilding our relationship. And but the first thing I did was just start jumping back into the wrong crowd as soon as I moved up here. And man, I'm just the type of person, man. Like I told you, like I've had good jobs and stuff, and like when I was going to school, like it's just no matter what I'm doing, I give it my all, man. Like if I'm gonna go to work that day, I don't care how much you're paying me or something. You pay me doing a job, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna give you 100%. If I'm gonna go to school and try to make good grades, I'm gonna try to give you my best to make A's and B's. Or if
Where
I'm
do you
drinking,
think you got that from?
huh?
Where do you think?
I don't know. I just my dad, I guess, like he just a lot of stuff my dad has. I guess the way my dad has tried to raise me. I don't know. Maybe self-will. Maybe just.
It's a nice trait to have.
I guess, and then like I don't know. I have like I'm just I feel like, I'm one of the type of people like. You see like these people that you're like, oh, he's talented or she's talented. I don't know. I'm one of the type of people that feel like, and yeah, they're talented, but if you go and you practice and put that much work into doing whatever they're doing, you could be just as good if you really put your mind to it, And I feel like that if there's something that you really want to do, no matter what it is, you really can if you really have the determination to do it.
Absolutely. I believe that in moments in my life.
Yeah, and man, I don't know, like
talent doesn't account for all. There's a lot to say for practice and work.
Yeah.
And consistency and discipline, okay.
Yeah.
So you decided you were going to be an alcoholic, I guess.
and that's when, like, I decided drinking and drugging, and I gave my all into it, man, I did my best to hide it. I did my best to obtain it. It didn't matter if I had to. I would, like I said, I've always had like good job and stuff, so I was never like the type to like really have to go and steal to get what I wanted. Now I would do a lot of manipulating and doing whatever I could. I mean, some people might call that stealing in a way or whatever, but I would, I would use lies, or I would maybe if I was going to go pay the light bill or something, I'd tuck that money in my pocket and take it out of the next paycheck, I would find ways to get what I needed, no matter what. And I've had like really good paying jobs and stuff, and there was no reason why I should have never been able to not afford it. But I mean, like, that's how bad my addiction was. I'd rather go out and spend all my money on liquor and pills instead of worrying about rent or buying more clothes for my child or something. That's like my addiction was just that bad. And so
what brought it to a head, I guess, for this?
For this?
Yeah, for you just
what brought it to a head was since I got my first DUI when I was 21, and like I moved to Morristown right after I got out of high school. And I moved up there, and I started working. I moved up there with a girlfriend of mine, and her dad had gotten me a job, and they were like paying for me to go to school to learn CNC, and I got this trade and stuff, and started drinking and partying up there all the time. I guess maybe like when I was up there, I guess I was like kind of like lonely because I didn't. It was a new area. So I'm not good with change, so I guess I just relied on the drinking there. It was just another reason for me to drink. I'd find reason to drink, I guess. And so I was in legal trouble up there, and I completed that, and then come down here, get my second DUI. Not even before I even finished all this stuff up there. Before I actually like get done with it. Actually, I'm supposed to like go to court. I have everything paid and stuff. Before they actually released me for my first DUI, I'd done get a second DUI. So I'm back in jail again, and so I lose that job over this for a while, and so I go and do my 45 days. So I'm back in trouble again. I'm back on probation, and then so I do that, and I end up failing drug tests, and so I was just for about 10 years, man. I've always been in and out of jail, having good jobs, losing them. Building up relationships and being a father to the highest point that I can get, and then just crash and burn, man. Just ruin everything. And I'm good at it, just ruining it. Yeah, I was real good at making everything right, but then I was just as good at just burning it all down.
That's how we do.
I guess I just got tired. Like whenever everybody gave up on me, like my mom and my dad, especially my dad. My dad is like the one person in this world that like I want to make proud, and like just hearing him tell me, "Good job," is like means the world, dude. Because he's like the dude I looked up to the most. And when he kind of like just was like, and he still would answer my phone calls, and he'd still talk to me, but you could just tell he was just like kind of like, oh, he's a lost cause. Maybe he didn't think that, but he would.
That's what you were picking up when.
That's what I was feeling. I guess that's what I was telling myself. Like,
yeah.
Everybody just thinks I'm just a lost cause, And then so I have to. So I just kept running, and then my breaking point was, man, it was about this time last year, about almost right at this time last year. Cold as hell outside, and me and this girl that I was hooking up with, we was living together and stuff, and she got tired of my drinking, so she kicked me out, and I didn't have nowhere to go, man. She ended up dropping me off down there by the Pinnacle in Bristol, and my mom lives down in Bluntwell, so I walked to Bluntwell, and so I've got a fifth of cheap whiskey in my book bag, starving to death, and I go and I dine and dash at the Waffle House at the Pinnacle, and I walk to Bluntwell. I'm knocking on my mom's door at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Mom, it is fucking cold. It's like 5 degrees outside. And she's like, sorry, I can't let you in. And bro, that shit hurt. That shit hurt so bad. And so it was cold, man. I had nowhere to go. Nobody let me in. I was tired of my shit. And so across on the other side of the interstate from Mom's, there was a church there, and I knew this church had like a 3-bedroom apartment upstairs, and had Wi-Fi, cable, everything I needed. So I went and I just busted the door open and just kicked it in there for like 2 weeks. And at that point, and I would walk to Bristol, go get my liquor, like a fifth of I was drinking a fifth like every 2 days. So every 2 days, I'd find some way to scrounge up some money and bullshit somebody out some money. And I would walk to Bristol, go get me a fifth of some cheap whiskey. Probably drink a quarter of it, half of it before I even got back to the church. I'd sneak in there. Sometimes it'd be like on a Wednesday night and they'd be having church. I'd hide underneath the pine trees in the snow, waiting for the church to let out, and I'd go back in there and sneak in the door. Start just going in there and just start getting drunk. And then, so I did that for like 2 weeks. And I had done came with terms. I was running from the cops, man. And I was like, I knew when they got there, I was like so tired of this shit that I was doing. I was like when the cops got there was about 4 or 5 police officers and they had the guns drawn. I was getting ready to leave, walk out, go get another bottle of liquor. And, you know, I had my coat on and stuff. I walked out, and then when I did, I shocked the cops just as much as they did me, you know. And so they had the guns pointed at me and stuff, and I just threw my hands up and just surrendered. And I was like, oh, y'all got me. You know, I was running with warrants. And so when I went to jail, when I went to court, I told the judge, I was like, she's talking about probation and all this, you know. And I was like, I don't even want to do it. I was like, just let me run my time. You know, I want to get out with a clean start. Like, I'm really tired of this. You know, I'm going to have to do something. I just knew at that point I was going to have to do something different. And I knew if I was to get back, and if they was just going to give me another slap on the wrist, here's probation, and just, I knew I was going to get out. I was probably going to drink myself to death because, man, when I was with that girl that was before she had kicked me out, before it was real cold out and I had to walk to my mom's, when I was with her, I drank myself into two seizures, and bro, that scared the shit out of me. Them things are scary. And that second one about killed me. So and I was drinking a lot, man, puking and peeing blood, and it was shitting blood first thing in the morning, man. And it was awful, bro. It was crazy. And I just could not stop drinking. I mean, I was really just drinking myself to die because I didn't feel like I had nothing to live for, you know? Like, I wasn't seeing my daughter, which I don't blame her. I mean, the mother of my child wouldn't even let me see her because of the way I was. And today, I mean, I thank God for that now because I could have, I don't know if she would have been old enough to probably understand, really. I mean, she would have known something was up with her dad, but, because I mean, I know I did at my age. When I did with my mom, now I look back at it, it's crazy because my daughter's not too much younger than I was whenever I started seeing that go on with my mom, you know? And, but yeah, the big thing was whenever my mom didn't let me in that night. Like, when I finally found out, bro, like, you know, man, I mean, like, nobody really wants to fuck with me. I didn't have nothing, man. And then, like, my sister, she's, like, the one person I could turn on to, too, and she wasn't here, you know? She was gone. She done moved to North Carolina, and she was gone doing her thing, living life. I didn't have nobody, man. That shit hurt. And, so when the cops came that night that morning at the church, I was ready for it. I asked the judge just to flat my time, and I didn't know what, when I got in jail, I was like, all right, what am I going to do whenever I get out of here? You know, I started, because I'm always, man, like, really bad about, like, worrying and stressing the future, what's going to go on, when I should just be living in the moment. You know, I've learned that with this program, and you should, but I'm really bad about stressing things. So while I'm in jail for these 9 months, I stressing and everything. And so I was getting there and I was talking to all my fellow inmates and stuff, and I seen someone was going to class and stuff and just started asking what was going on with it. And it was like a child class. I was like, well, I'm a dad. And, man, I can get out of class and go find a cigarette butt on the ground or something. You know, I'm just trying to get out of the pod for a little bit. And so I do that for a while, and it was so cool, man. Like, I'm doing these classes, and it's Matt Owen and Aaron Shepard, is that her name? Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her and him, and they're doing them classes. And so the class is like 16 weeks. And so I was telling like my story and stuff to Matt as these weeks are going by, and he's starting to get to know each other and stuff. And Matt was the one, you know, telling me like, hey, you know, there's a better life. I've been through what you've been through, you know? And so I guess I kind of like, it was like when I was talking to him, it was like I got away from the jail mentality for a minute, and I could have like a real one-on-one conversation with somebody that understands me. And so he was working with Families Free, and I had gotten a trustee job in there where I was working construction in the jail, making money and all that. And so I've been telling myself this whole time I was in jail, I was telling myself, I'm going to get out and I'm going to do right, you know. I have pretty good knowledge on how to figure life out. I just got to not drink and not drug. But they give me that trustee job where I'm making $16 an hour and I'm locked up. So I got it made while I'm in jail, you know. First thing I do is I'm out there for a week, start smoking meth, start taking Xanaxes, and then drinking. We got just little shooter bottles. We're drinking on the job and stuff. Going back in there, taking shit in the jail, you know, doing shit like that. And so like I said, we was only doing it for like a week, and then we went. It was like on a Thursday. We went and we took pictures with all the cops and stuff, you know, and we were all high. And like this is like their program. They're like, oh, you know, we're trying to make inmates a better way to, you know,
Like all y'all in the picture faded.
yeah, we're all faded, you know. And here we are. We got it made in jail and still fucking up. So I get kicked out of the classes that I'm doing with Matt, and there's a guy in my it's in my cell, and I was like, hey dude, there's a dude in there, Matt Owen. I was like, tell him, because I only had like I had like 2 or 3 more weeks to go to get out of jail. I said, tell Matt that whenever I get out, I'm calling him, you know, and I'm gonna try to see if he can help me. And so when I got out, I kept calling, and they was like, at Family Free, they was like, he no longer works here. I'm like, fuck. I was like, dude, I got the worst luck ever. You know, like, like nothing can go right. And like, this is my first time ever trying to reach out for some help ever. You know, my whole life I thought I could just figure things out on my own. And and when I was working in that jail, you know, when I got out, I had me a little bit of money. I had that money on debit card from working that 2 weeks in the doing that construction. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and start doing things right. So I walked to the library in Bristol, and I just got whatever little bit of money I got, and I stopped and I bought me a 5th of liquor. And I go to the library, and I'm about half faded, and I'm filling out resumes and shit. And I could go turn around in my book bag that I got with my wallet and all that shit in it, gone. Somebody snatched all my shit, all my money, everything gone. My liquor is gone, you know. I'm like, damn, can't catch a break. So I go back home. I go back to my mom's, and so I'm staying with her it's been about 3 or 4 days since I've been out of jail. She gets me a job. I'm working at Booney, and it's like $10 an hour. You know, it's shit just. I'm like, I ain't gonna get nowhere like this. And so finally, like after about a week of doing this, Hannah Thurman, I think her name is, called me from Family Resources and was like, hey, I seen you was trying to get a hold of Matt Owen. And she's like, is there anything I can help you with? And I was like, well, he was just telling me about there's this program and they can help you get on your feet. And I was like, I don't know nothing about it. I have no clue what it is. And so she's like, I'm going to get you in touch with Tabitha Edwards with Recovery Resources. And so I go, and then I think Tabitha called me back the next day. And so like, all right, yeah, I want to do this. And she's like, okay. And she told me like the first little conditions to getting in the program. You got to come, take a drug test and all that stuff. And then, so she like scheduled, I think she told me to come there. I think it was like on a Tuesday maybe. So I'd worked that Monday night. I was like, Mom, look, I'm going to a recovery program. I have to be straight laced. Like I can't drink, I can't do pills, I can't get fucked up. Let me just have a couple beers tonight. So I go and I get the first thing I do is go and get the beers that's got the highest alcohol percent in them, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna get me a little buzz before I go. And I was like, oh, it's just alcohol, you know. I ain't gonna show up in the drug test. And so then I was like thinking, well, maybe it does show up on the drug test. So I'm flipping out and I'm like, Mom, it's like maybe that alcohol show up in my drug test, and I shouldn't. And I'm gonna call Tabitha and tell her that maybe I should put it off for a week, you know, let that get out of my system. And she's like, why don't you just try calling her and being honest with her? And so I called Tabitha and I told her, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest. I had 2 beers last night, and she was like, and I was like, and I just told her the truth. I was like, I told myself that I was going to get out of jail and I was going to just do right, and I can't do this shit on my own. Like I need some kind of structure, some kind of guidance, something to show me how to live a sober life. Like I need this. And I just was honest with her, and how good a person she was. I came there, and she let me come to the program, and you know, she explained to me how the program works and everything. And dude, and that's what started my life of sober, you know, and getting sober.
How long you been sober?
I've been sober. Next week will be 6 months.
Does it feel like it?
No, it feels like it has went by so fast. I think it has a lot to do with the program, because they keep us pretty busy as far as like doing our meetings. Especially like when you're first in the program. You got to do the 3 house meetings. You got to pick up at least 2, which now at first I wasn't a big fan of going to meetings and stuff, but now that I've learned how, like, now 6 months into the program, I'm a lot different on that. I love going to meetings. I try to go to, if I'm sitting around the house not doing nothing, I hear, hey, we're going to a meeting. Can I ride with you? I like going to the meetings,
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
What do you think you're
Huh?
What do you think you're most excited about today?
That I'm most excited about today. The biggest thing I'm excited about is I feel like that I have a future. I'm excited about the future because if you had told me this 6 months ago that I would have the mindset that I do now and the strength that I have now, probably like, you're crazy, you're lying. Because, like I told you, like, I always have had like that self-will thing, like you can do anything you want, and my drugs and alcohol, like I could not do that.
Which is probably true for you, except for alcohol is
Except for drugs
concerned.
and alcohol, man. Like that was I could not do that on my own, and it took and because whenever I heard about this thing about recovery resources and all that, I've never been this. This is my first time reaching out. I mean, I thought it was a way for people to make money off junkies. That's what I thought I was walking into. Like I was like, this is just, they just want to collect their rent. They just want to make some money off some junkies. And if we relapse or what, if we do whatever, they don't give a fuck. That's what I thought this was, that's what I thought shit like this was. And I guess I was just kind of why I never even tried to do it, I was like, nobody cares, And then once I got here, man, the love and man, the patience and stuff, like the people that like especially the guys I live with in the house, man. That brotherhood of like the guys I live with and the other people of recovery resources that surround me, man. Having, and like that goes back, I guess, to like where everybody had shut me out. Feeling that love and stuff from everybody again, like, bro, that just felt so good. And then seeing people that I guess I could relate to, that had been, because I see people that I go to the meetings with, that I was like, damn, man, like, I know I have problems just as bad as they do, but they come from something way worse than I ever did, and like, if they can do it, like, that was like my hope, like, I listened to this guy tell his story, and like, seeing him have 3 years, 4 years, or multiple years sober, whatever, how long he's got, more than I got. It's like, damn, if he can do it, I can do it. And just like little thing like that I see meant a lot to me, man, And then the little things like I started being able to, and because I enjoy work, I enjoyed life, I love life, man. Everything to go with it. I love going to work. Some people hate going to work. I like going to work. So like, I started getting a job, started making a little money, started like things are starting to work, and because like when I first got here, I was real nervous, and I was like, damn, what am I gonna do? And I had a little help from one of the guys in the house, got me on my feet, got me working, get a little money in my pocket. And then like the child support started coming out, there's a little setback, and then it's cool, and then it's I vented to a few of the dudes that I live with, and they're like, bro, it's gonna be all right. Don't let it get to you. You just keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna work itself out. How is, me losing half of my check and not being able to pay my rent going to work itself out? I'm going to end up kicked out. And they're like, just keep doing what you're doing, man. And so, like, once things started rolling and it started getting better, then, like, that self-will, that self-drive that I have, like, that kicked in, man. And I was like, bro, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And but when I first got in the program, I was talking to a guy the other night whenever I got home from a meeting, and he was like, it kind of humbled me a little bit because, and he's one of the guys that I look up to a lot in this house, and he told me, he was like, man, I didn't think you was gonna make it at first. I was like, damn, way to be a homie, man. You know, like, he's like, no, he's like, you know, I'm glad you proved me wrong though. And you know, I asked him, like, well, what made you say it? He's like, well, when you got here, you know, when you like started to get a job, he's like, you was just like, you know, you got this. He's like, you think you could be out, be on fire on your own. And now that I've spent a little time in this program and stuff, man, and I look back at my life, like, there's no way I could have got sober and seen that there's a better life without recovery resources. There's no way. I needed that structure. I needed that love. I needed that. I needed the somebody to show me. I don't know, just get me on a good path of how to live a normal sober life, you know, and I needed to, you know, I needed the meetings and see that, hear other people's bullshit that just showed me that, like, there's hope, you know. I needed that.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.